Yes, I heard you, Kurosaki. Listen, this is Uryu's battle. Alright, he dug himself into it, he'll get himself out. He's an adult now. Yeah, well, that might work for your son, but it's not the same with me and Uryu. Okay, look, well, you can go help him out if you want. I'm not going to stop you, but leave me out of it. It doesn't matter what she would have wanted. She's dead. Everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 674, titled Father 2. So does that mean that it's just like a continuation of last chapter with Father, or Father 2, as in like another father is going to show up? Because that would be really... I can't think of anybody... Oh, Ryuken. Yeah, well, you know. We're almost like 200 chapters into this arc. I don't think... If Ryuken was going to be showing up, I think he would have happened a long time ago. Anyway, chapter continues on with... oh, geez, what did happen last chapter? Alright, Ichigo got bitch whipped into a pillar. Oh! Ow! Orihime! Aspirin, please. Coming, Kurosaki-kun! Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized something. Ichigo is engaging in pitched combat with Orihime present. So, we're going to get a lot of Kurosaki-kuns coming up. We already had one last chapter, and then this chapter, so I don't think... it might be a little bit early on in the fight, but I don't think anyone will hold it against me if I just throw in this counter right now. Yeah, I think we might need that in the future. Alright, so Orihime rushes over to try to heal Ichigo when we have Yhwach stepping up out of his throne with the shadows spilling off of him, stating, "It's been fun, but we're done talking." Oh, man! Oh, Kubo, come on. I mean, this is a really... I thought you were trying to go for, like, a serious fight here. It's no time to be cracking jokes like that. Oh, wait, no, you don't even know how funny this line is yet, like, at all. Okay, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this line of dialogue, I'm just gonna snip it out here, and I'm going to stick it over here in this corner, and I'm just going to have that there for the entire review, so you can really understand the full comedic weight of it. Alright? Okay. Now then, let me show you what I can do, Ichigo! Serious battle face time, and then rain falling down, and then Ichigo charging at you. Okay, I should probably bring this up periodically throughout this chapter, you know, in the sake of foreshadowing, metaphor, symbolism, whichever, however. Kubo throws in these little time-lapse scenes of the sky, first as, you know, just one raindrop is falling, then it's raining completely, and then the cloudy sky, and then the sky beginning to clear. So, yeah, I mean, that can refer to a lot of things, but I'm just going to bring it up at the end of the chapter from what we find out, because I think that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, so yeah, Ichigo doesn't even let Orihime heal him. He just immediately grabs the swords and charging right at Yhwach. Okay, Ichigo, this is just looking depressing. Really? This is it? I mean, I can see Ichigo getting all pumped and motivating himself, like, okay, here we go, fighting Bach, fighting Yhwach, here we go, King of the Quincy's. Steps in, he's like, alright, I don't know what's gonna happen yet, hey, maybe I'll be way stronger than him, who knows. Pulls out his swords, and then Yhwach just kicks the shit out of him without even standing up. And Ichigo's like, hold on, that was just a fluke, I got this. And he charges again. Wait, Kurosaki-kun! Alright, so it goes just as well as you could imagine. He gets completely surrounded and engulfed by the shadows once more by Yhwach's mighty form. Yhwach does not look stressed at all in the slightest. He gets the shit. It looks like the shadows literally just uppercutted the fuck out of his face. I think we see some blood splattering above him there. Ha! Charging in so recklessly and dragging that poor woman here with you. I'm done talking. But did your hatred cloud your mind and make you forget? Don't be so impatient. Anyway, I'm done talking. You will be devoured by me. Your death is inevitable. And I am done talking. So let's not rush things and enjoy ourselves a bit more. You have no idea how much I am done talking. And the time it took you and how many series. Oh my god, Yhwach, shut the fuck up! I mean, you got the monologuing god part. Is this what gods do, really? They've attained ultimate power, so it's like, well, I got nothing else to do. I mean, any enemy will be felled before me, so I guess I gotta sit around and just talk about how big my fucking dick is. How big my bick is. Like, that verbal dyslexia really kicks me in the ass sometimes. But yeah, I don't... Kubo, you're a flat out fucking liar. I don't know what else to say here. And you know what also, it's crazy, it's not even like he's saying anything of substance. It's not even like I'm just glossing over this, like, yeah, Yhwach's saying all this really important stuff, but I'm making a joke about it. No, all he's really saying is, like, cliche villain lines from, like, a 1990s fucking action movie. Like, your death is inevitable, you will be devoured by me. You know, it all comes down to this sort of idea where, once again, he brings up that, you know, Ichigo, your powers were never yours to begin with, because I'm the father of Quincy's, and I gave you my blood, and that's why you have my powers. And he's like, they've returned to their rightful owners, so spew out every little bit of power and then die. So he's basically saying, like, don't burn out all your powers until you've had a chance to just give them all back to me, and then you can be left the dried out husk that you really are, because Ichigo, you're nothing more than a puppet at this point. You were manipulated by Aizen during the whole Hogyoku thing, and then you were manipulated by me before you were even born because you have my blood in you. You know, and if nothing else, can Ichigo just, just punch him in the face? Like, it doesn't even have to be swords. And you know what? It doesn't even have to hurt him. But I would kill right now to see Ichigo just, toss away the swords and just deck Yhwach on the side of the mouth. And then Yhwach will just be like, BAM! Huh. Because at least that would give us so much verbal just artistic satisfaction, and he would also shut up for a few brief seconds. But anyway, yeah, Ichigo appears to be bleeding pretty profusely there. It looks like he has a black eye. And then we cut back over to the fight with Gerard. Already in progress, I see. Ruki and Renji are running from their lives. The light is still raining down. So I guess Gerard, I mean, he's not talking. I don't know if he's like some kind of mindless creature, amorphous light monster that's just like, kill Shinigami, kill Shinigami. But he's just raining more light bullets on them. And then it looks like Gerard just sweeps his hand down and tries to scoop them all up or break the area where they're standing on. Byakuya saves both of them. He grabs Renji and Ruki and they go to jump into, I guess a little cubby, a little tiny side building or something. Which Renji gets the shit beat out of him because Byakuya is really rough with Renji. He knocks him into the side of the wall when they land. But Ruki, he's really delicate. Okay, there you go. Just, alright little sis, just make sure you don't hurt yourself now. He tells them to go join up with Kurosaki or Ichigo's group, and, oh, it's okay, we got stuff here on our own we can kind of handle. And he says, I'm sure that you can sense his Ryatsu. That thing is on Yhwach's level. I'm assuming he's talking about Gerard. I think it's weird because he's looking at the castle when he says that. So I'm like, that thing that's on Yhwach's level, wouldn't it make more sense to show an image of Gerard if that's who you're referring to? There's been a lot of theories about this, that Yhwach and Gerard, like Gerard is like going to have some power equal or equivalent to Yhwach. Or maybe at some point Yhwach is going to absorb Gerard back into himself, and that's going to give him some crazy, insane power. I certainly think now that there's more to Gerard than we have to understand, that we've yet to understand. Probably going to come back to the fact that he's the heart of the Soul King. Like, the right arm and the left arm, we kind of understood, like, one is stillness, one is progress. Okay, those are vague concepts, but at least they're something. The heart of the Soul King, like, we don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, what does that mean? Like, it'll always keep beating, so he'll never die, because it's like the heart of a god, and gods don't die? I don't know. I just one way of looking at it. But, yeah, he's basically just saying, go with them, and, of course, Rukia has to hesitate a little bit, like, oh, wait, you can't tell us to leave, you need our help. And Gerard just goes to try to smash him again, but Byakuya uses Senbon Zakura to block it, and he's like, hey, listen, go and help him because he needs your strength for this final battle, and that's all I have to say to either of you. And then Rukia and Renji basically just accept the fact this is what he wants, and they bow to him. He's like, yes, sir, we appreciate your candor, and they go to head off toward the fight with Ichigo. So Byakuya comes back to Toshiro, and they have like a little back and forth here. And basically the reason that Byakuya told them to do that, and Toshiro kind of brings this up, he's like, I don't know if you attended like the Reijutsu Academy, the Soul Reaper Academy, because Byakuya is a noble, so maybe he had like a different sort of like private like maybe just Ginrei like taught him all the stuff handed because he's like a noble house. Their stuff is differently handled. But Toshiro, when he went to the Soul Reaper Academy, they said we weren't supposed to fight for our families or anything like that. We were supposed to fight to the best of their abilities as all Shinigami. We're supposed to protect our friends and the humans that we're responsible for with our very lives. And they said, like, well, I mean, you might be acquaintances with Ichigo, you know, Byakuya, and I guess Toshiro as well, but Rukia and Renji, those two, they're Ichigo's close friends, so they need to be beside him during this final battle, which I am fine with. Perfectly fine with. I was really kind of worried there for a second. We weren't really going to get any more Rukia-Renji moments for the rest of the story, because, you know, Rukia went Bankai, kicked ass, Renji went Bankai, kicked ass. I thought they were just going to stick around for the fight with Gerard. I'm really happy that Kubo is deciding to, you know, throw them into the final mix with the battle with Yhwach and Ichigo, because it's very clear that Ichigo, yeah, I mean, he hasn't gone into, like, he hasn't really used that many abilities yet. He hasn't shown his Bankai, but he's not doing too well. One more final scene before we get to the end of the chapter. We cut over to see Haschwalth and Uryu's fight. So, yeah, last time we saw this, Haschwalth had already been pretty much beaten down Uryu, and that was before he even had his real powers. That was back before when he was using Yhwach's power, and then after the sun rose, Haschwalth, you know, he returns to his normal self, and he's like, well, my powers on their own are more suited for combat, and then he charges up like that big arrow, it looked like, with his sword, which he shouldn't be able to do, but he launched an attack at Uryu, and we see that, yeah, he pretty much beat Uryu into the dirt there, and he starts monologuing himself. It seems that my Majesty Yhwach is beginning to talk about how awesome he is. I guess I will follow suit. All people exist based on scales, how they live, what they encounter, how much they're done talking, the totality of how their lives are lived. It all progresses based on the scales of right and wrong. You desire for yourself what you split up and place on each side of that scale, and those fragments of right or wrong that you split apart pile up on one another into form of a person. That is what makes you who you are, Uryu Ishida. Oh my god, it hurts so much. Grandpa, I don't want to be a Quincy anymore. Can I just go be an accountant? You were not listening to a single word I said. I am Jugram Haschwalth, Sternritter B, and I am done talking to you. But I cannot see your form that you were built up because of the choices of the scales of right and wrong. That is not what you can't see. Who is the actual Ishida? Oh my god! Does this amount to anything? Like, seriously. Because Haschwalth's just going on and on about how, you know, okay, his thing is scales and the balance, we already know that. And he starts going on and on about how, you know, oh, we decide who we really are, but when I'm looking at you, I can't decide who you are. I don't know what side you're on here. Who is the actual Ishida Uryu? Is it truly your earnest desire to put your life on the line in the shallow, heartless humans? Shallow, heartless humans. I don't understand why he put that in there. I don't... It seems like a lot of babbling in this chapter, doesn't it? Like, if it was talking about something relevant, that's fine, but it's all like this is like the moral ambiguity chapter. It's like talking about how, you know, who are we really as people? I'm like, it's like almost 700 chapters in this series. I think we know who Uryu Ishida is at this point. We've seen his journey up to this point. There's still a few gaps here, but we still basically know who he is. We know who Ichigo is at this point. We know who Rukia and Renji is who they are at this point. All right. But yeah, Uryu begins to crawl up out of the pool of his own blood, and he's basically just telling you the same thing I just said. He's like, feel free to stop blabbering whenever you want. Who is the real Ishida Uryu, you ask? Well, how could I possibly answer something so vague? You know, and then he charges up this really awesome, like, four-pointed star bow thing. I'm guessing that's a bow. I don't know. He's not really holding it like a bow. He's holding it out like... The perspective's a little wonky. I don't know if it's like the 4 stars, like, are in front of him, and he's like this, or it's like the 1, 2, and then 3, 4 are behind him, and he's like holding it like this in the center. But he's charging up something pretty cool, and he's like, the truth is, I won't know the answer either until I see all of you drop like flies. Alright, so basically with that line right there, I'll see you all drop like flies, he is how he always has been. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, he's on Ichigo's side, and he wants to defeat the Vanenreich. There you go. You didn't need the page of explanation by, you know, Jugo being like, who are you really? And now a truck's driving past, but I'm not going to edit that out because we're at the end of the chapter. We see one of the keys of the sun gates being flipped up like a coin, and it like falls to the ground, and we see 2 figures emerging from the sun gate itself. Nah, this was rather unexpected. I never imagined this portal we used decades ago would still be in working order. So, I believe they're discussing the portal that was mentioned when Hashwolf, like, knocked everybody into that Undercity, and then Uryu's like, alright, so here's the gate to the living world that we were going to use to invade it. Like, the Vanenreich was going to invade it. So, use this and just go home. And Hashwolf comes in and he's like, well, I think he said the Sun Gate was already destroyed, so this might be a different one, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, one of the persons says, you know, I'm grateful to your old man, thanks to his quick wits, we managed to use this to escape back when he was exiled. And then we see the final scene of the chapter, where... Oh my god! Oh my god! I don't know if I'm ready for this, guys. I need to sit down for a second. Oh, man. Whew. Okay. So. Ryuken Isshin is here on the stage! Woo! Oh, and Isshin too. That's pretty cool. But Ryuken! Yes! Fucking Ryuken! Oh, man. I want to fuck Ryuken after this chapter's over. Jeez, some crackers. Okay, so... Let me just go over this once more to understand the full weight behind this, alright? Final arc of the series, focused on Quincy's, 194 chapters into it, Ryuken Ishida finally shows up in the main storyline. As, before the final arc, we knew him as one of the only 2 remaining Quincy's in existence, and it took Kubo almost 200 chapters to have him introduced in this fight. You know what? Fuck it, I'm not even mad. I can't be mad. I mean, how can you be mad at this? Ryuken and Isshin both show up, they're wearing their battle gear, they're ready to go, and they're dropping some expositionary dialogue, stuff that's actually tangible, that I can actually analyze and discuss, not like this, you know, balancing of both scales, and give me your power that I've told you that is not yours, but is actually mine. It's something I can actually discuss here. Alright, so, let's say, I guess this isn't the same Sungate that, you know, Uryu was mentioning earlier, because that one was, like, in, like, the Undercity place. This one is clearly outside. They're still in the Varveld, it's just, like, in another location. And it's been mentioned a few times, these Sungate things. They're still around, they just got, like, mixed up. They're like warp pads, basically. So, he mentions that this particular Sungate was used decades ago, and he said that we used it decades ago, and it's still in working order. So, that would imply that somebody other than Soken used it. So maybe, I don't know if Ryuken's talking about, like, we used it as in, like, a bunch of Quincy used it, like he's talking about we as in, like, their entire tribe, the Quincy, or if he's saying we, like, yeah, me and my dad used this to escape. And he goes on to say that, like, he used it to escape back when he was exiled. So Soken was probably a member of the Sternritters at some point. That would explain a lot. I mean, I've already kind of gone into detail about that. I think back during the flashback arc when we were learning about Basby and Jugo, I mentioned it. It would make sense for Soken to be a Sternritter, considering that, like, a lot of the Sternritters are already aware of the Ishida bloodline. You know, like, Kurhei was, like, you know, talking about, like, oh, well, you say Uryu Ishida should be weaker than me. Well, that's completely preposterous. He should definitely be stronger. So, the Ishida bloodline is very well known, so it would make sense why, you know, Soken would at least be a part of the Sternritter at one point, and maybe he noticed, like, shit was going south, and he didn't want to be part of that anymore, because Soken was, well, the Soken that we know is kind of like a kind-hearted, gentle person, but we might find out something a little bit more dark and grisly about him coming out. It's totally possible. It's like, yeah, he was this bloodthirsty monster. Like, look, remember Unohana? I think we all remember Unohana. What happened with that little deal there? Additionally, Ryuken states that I'm very grateful for my father's sticky-fingered habit in this one instance. So, I mean, you know, Soken had a habit for stealing things, something that was clearly inherited by Uryu, because Uryu stole, like, a bunch of Selle Schneiders from Ryuken's storage center there. I remember that. And then Isshin's just sitting there squatting. He's just like, speaking ill of your own father. That's why always people called you a bad son. You know? Yeah, and it's funny here, because that calls back another thing. That calls back the time when Ryuken was first introduced in the series, when he defeated that Menos Grande that was attacking Uryu, and Uryu's just like, Ryuken! And Ryuken steps out of the shadows looking badass with the bow and his suit, and he's just like, is that any way to address your father? So, damn, I'm just so pumped for this. I really am. Isshin makes a lot of sense for him to be here, because there's still a lot of stuff we don't know about him, like his Bankai was hinted, so we're gonna get to see that coming up. And just continue on the Bankai Fest. We got Uehara, Shunsui, Kenpachi, Toshiro's fully matured form. Just keep chucking them at us, Kubo. It's cool. Keep bringing it on. So we're probably gonna see Isshin's Bankai coming up. Also, interesting thing about Isshin, I don't know if this is just like a brow furrow, but does it look like he has like a new scar on his forehead? I don't know what that is. Is that just like a brow furrow, like he's like raising an eyebrow looking at Ryuken? Or is that just an artistic thing, or is that just anything, you know, tangible? I'm not sure. But yeah, Ryuken's looking pretty badass. I think this is the first time we've ever seen him wearing his, like, Quincy battle outfits, you know, outside of the flashback. Although it wasn't the Reishi armor, which I'm still pissed about. You know, the whole thing, like, we have Reishi armor. I'm like, oh man, are you gonna be freaking like Iron Man? Like, whipping out like a giant crossbow, like, you know, that would be awesome! But no, it's not Quincy armor, it's just like standard Quincy outfits that looks very similar to the outfit Uryu wore to like Wakamundo or something, just with like a longer cape. But yeah, I'm assuming that Ryuken's gonna go and help out Uryu. Obviously, he's gonna go help them take down Hashwolf. Probably gonna find out some past about him, I hope. And then we're gonna see Isshin try to help out Ichigo, obviously. I still think the fight with Gerard, you know, if you take together Byakuya and Toshiro and Kenpachi, and then you have maybe Mayuri get back into the mix, and Shunsui and Nanao, and you gather together, like, and Soifone is still lurking about somewhere, and maybe if Yoroichi could be recovered, you know, maybe if someone's healing them, if you get all of those guys together, and the Gote 13 takes down Gerard, maybe something will happen there. But, yeah, the fight with Ichigo and Yhwach is dangerously out of balance right now, so we need to get Rukia, Renji, and then maybe Isshin in all on that to help balance it out. Isshin goes Bankai, Ichigo's goes Bankai, you know, Rukia and Renji use their Bankais, and maybe we might stand, well, maybe not stand a chance, but it'll at least be a little bit more evened out. It might still be in Yhwach's side, but this is just pitiful right now with Ichigo just charging at Yhwach and getting the shit beat out of him by a shadow. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. This will be Tekking, signing out, man.